first video I uploaded didn't work. It had no sound and no video. It froze up. It looked like it worked for a few views and then it stopped. So I'm gonna try to re-upload this tonight. So hopefully it works. What we're gonna do today is change some headlight bulbs on the Jeep JK, not the cheap Jeep. And so what I did was I picked up a set of these Silver Star Ultra. So instead of changing the whole light fixture out, we're going to just change the bulbs out. I didn't want to spend all the money on putting LED lights. But those lights are horrible. They're very, very weak. Watch this. They're all crusty right here. I'm going to try to clean some of that up. Just turn them on in here. And then we'll come back here. And, I mean, they just look like regular bulbs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change one side and then we'll kind of compare them at night and then I'll change both of them. And I'm going to try to do this without watching any YouTube videos. So I'm just going to see if I can do it with that, just on my own mechanical intuition and ability. So the first thing I think we got to do is to pop these out and move this back, because I noticed there's really no way to get, you can get to this one a little bit, but you can't really get to that one. So I may try to get this one first, but either way, on that one, I got to pop it out, so I might as well take the whole thing off. Okay, so what you're going to need for this job, you're going to, at the bare minimum, you're going to need a Torx T15 screwdriver, nut driver, whatever you're going to call it. You could also use a 1/4 inch, which is, this is the main one I used. You definitely need a small flathead screwdriver and an extension. Optional would be, this is a flexible extension. Of course, optional would be an automatic ratchet, electric ratchet. Optional is some dielectric grease, and optional silicone and some cleaner. And you'll see why that is shortly. That thing's full of water. Okay, I took the first one out here, so I'm going to show you how that works. What you got to do, get your little screwdriver, and the first thing you do is pry this centerpiece up, like that, and then that'll come out. Okay, once you get that out, you pry this piece up, and it should come right on out. Just like that, very simple. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these on top. Okay, once I got all these off, I'm noticing what's holding it. It's actually, if you look way back there, there's like a little, looks like press-in plastic piece. I don't want to break this. This is a gray one, and this was only on a few limited models. So let me put the phone down and see if I can pop that out. Okay, as you can see, I got it loose. What I did was, the first thing I did was I took some of the silicone spray and I went down there and I sprayed it on that little clip. And then I took this little pry bar and that some would say jimmy jammed it right up in here and just kind of twisted it, and it popped right out. So I got to do the other side. So the first thing I'm going to do is open that up, and you can see it. Right up in there. And spray this up in there. I know it's hard to see, but I sprayed it right in between that little joint. And then I have this in the joint, and I'm going to pop it out. Very simple. Now the whole thing came out. That's what I was trying to get. This little piece right there. Right there. Now the other little clips that are holding this on are right here. You've got, see right here, right there. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to spray some silicone down up in there, like this. You get the gist, and then I'll pop it out. see how those come out when you do that. Same here. Okay, I've got a little issue. If, as you can see with this winch plate, this is a factory bumper, but it's got a winch on it and a heavy-duty winch plate. You're not going to be able to pull this thing all the way. You see how much room you have here? So if you've got some type of aftermarket bumper, that might be all I get. So I'm going to probably have to work without detaching the bottom, which is fine. I think we can do that. Let's try it. Get out your Torx big set. We're going to need to use a T15 head to get that ring off. So there are 4 screws, as you can see right here. That's the T15. So you've got, I see here, you know, one here, and 2 down there on the bottom. All right, I got all 4 screws out right there, and then it looks like we can just take this trim ring off. Let's see, and the whole thing will come out. Oh yeah. Oh, there's not much space on this one. I may have to wiggle my hand down up in there. Let's see if this trim ring comes off. Yep. All right. So I'm going to wiggle my hand up in there. Let's turn this light on. And I believe we've got to take this piece here and push it back, and this thing should pop off. So let's see if that works. All right, I got it out. What you've got to do is this little red piece right here, you can push it back. I push it back with a screwdriver, and then you have to press this right here down. So you push that backwards with a screwdriver, press that down, and it comes out. And when it did come out, as you'll see, I guess it did an okay job, but there's a lot of dirt around there. So the bulb must be inside of here. Let's go take it in here. All right, I guess this thing just twists out. Let's see here. Up. So it's a factory JK. So as you see, the top is the one that's oxidized, the bottom is not. So let's see if this thing will turn. Oh, it did. Let's see. That's it. Very simple. So before I put this back on, I'm going to try to get this oxidation off here. On the top, I've got this old bottle of Plastic X McGuire's, and basically you just rub it in, so we'll see how it works. All right, this is just with about 5 minutes rubbing it. It's a lot better. It's not perfect. You can see there's some imperfections in that that are just not going to go away. Let's compare it to the other side. These lights have never been removed from this Jeep. So as you can see, it is going to be a lot better than what it was. Now another thing you need to do is clean this gasket. It looks like the new ones may or may not come with a gasket. I don't see a gasket. Oh, they do come with a gasket. Never mind. Just don't get any dirt or moisture down up in here. All right, you obviously want to cut this package open without touching that bulb. Don't put your hands on the bulb. All right, we'll note the visual differences. This is the OEM. I've never changed it. It's a Phillips, and of course we're putting a Sylvania in, and they look almost identical with the exception of the OEM has a gray cap on it, tip, and this one has a gold, and this one has a little bluish tint to it also. The filaments in there look identical, so I don't know what causes them to get brighter, but it might have something to do with the gas that's in there. Who knows? So you want to clean this off here. This new one, as we see, has a rubber grommet on it, so it should just fit right in like that, and then twist it. All right, a note to get these to fit in. The wording on these Sylvanias go to the bottom, and these little grooves would be toward the top. And how you know this is the top? Because it says, I thought it said up. Well, that says up, but this is the bottom. It's got a little drain thingy there. So where it says 2V and JK is the top. So it goes in just like that. And another thing I'm going to do is blow this out. I'll get all that dirt out of there. And now's the time to also clean up in there with some of this contact cleaner. And I also find it good to put a little bit of dielectric grease just up in there. Makes it come off in the future easier and prevents corrosion. And that's it. When you go to put this back on, see that little square piece right there? There's actually a spot where it goes. It goes right in here. There's 3 of them. And if you don't have all 3 of those in there, this won't sit flush. And once you get it sitting flush, just press your ring in. Make sure that your ring sits flush and put the 4 screws in, and really you're done. And that's all there is to the installation once you get all 4 of these screws put back on. So I'm going to go turn the lights on. Let's see what happens. Well, in the daylight they look exactly the same. I mean, this one's a lot cleaner. It's hard to tell on film, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to mess with it until it gets dark, so I can see if I can visually see a difference. I may go ahead and clean that light on the outside, so before I take that out, so to be even. You know, this one is a wider light than that. That is yellower. I know you can't tell on the film, but okay. Alright, it's getting darker out here, but I really don't see any difference with these lights. But the true test is going to be driving it. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this thing and go drive it tonight and see what it does. Oh, came out. Well, once you get it clicked, it should click flush, and then you can push your lock tab down. Now that the lights are in, you want to make sure that those clips down there get pushed in too at the very bottom. And the final step is put these little things in. So what you do, obviously you line them up and you put the first part in, very easy, and then you take the second part and pop it in there, just like that. Oh, come on, let's see. Oh, it goes a certain way. Yep, like that. Okay. Just do that to all of them, and then we'll take it for a test drive. Are they brighter? A little bit. It's really hard to tell with this camera, but the lights are definitely brighter, but not by a lot. Now, were they worth it? I mean, there was $43 for both. You know, it's a lot cheaper than an LED setup. So I'm going to drive these for a while, see how it goes, and maybe there's a set of LEDs in my future. Yeah, they're brighter, but barely. You look at these Harbor Freight bungee cords. They're just disintegrating in the UV light. Junk. I didn't have any tool casualties on this repair because it was such an easy repair with light duty, but I did repair or rectify one of my tool casualties from a previous video. In one of my sets, this old Husky set I've got, I actually bent this 12 and 13 millimeter socket. The 12 point one this particular set has 6-point and 12-point. I think they still sell it. It's a cheap Chinese one. I was actually broke down in Orlando, and instead of paying a tow, I just walked to Home Depot, bought this real quick, got a set of tools, and put an alternator on it in the parking lot. It was no big deal. But anyway, so the only 12-point sockets they had were these black ones, and it's got that universal knurling whatever, and they fit the same as a 12-point, so they didn't have the individual sockets in 12-point. They had them in 6-point, which I have those, but so I went ahead and told them to swap them for these, so we'll see how these hold up. Good weekend.